Oh, yeah, we're coming to you on a live, rainy Monday afternoon here in Los Angeles. I swear to God, the days just flow into each other. I hate to say that every single time, but the days are flowing into each other. It's kind of crazy now. And now the torrential rain apparently is going to be going here in LA for the entire week. So as if we weren't dry-skinned enough, here comes the rain to make you even drier from staying inside too long. I am John Rocha. I'm one of the hosts here on Game Time. Thank you all so much for joining us live here today. And I'm joined by Mr. Jay Washington. How are you, Jay?
I'm here and praying to God that my internet holds up, with this rain. Everybody in the house streaming porn at the same time. And I mean, I might be a culprit in part of that, but you know what? Don't judge me right now.
And speaking of porn, the man is trying to put it up behind him. It is new placed over there. The Swaggy Bird, Winston Marshall. What's going down, my man?
I'm chilling. You see, I go ahead and gave y'all a preview. Clearly, it's new. Look at all the shit in the corner I ain't put away yet.
That mean you just probably moving shit around. I'm just lazy.
Yeah, I'm just happy you got it in place.
I appreciate it, gentlemen. And it's not lazy. It's not lazy at all. It's just a simple fact that, like, I'm out here slinging groceries for old people. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure that your grandmama can eat. So sometimes I can't put my
Because you know me. So you know I was like, you could say you slinging dick for old people? Oh,
no. Man's got to make a living. Times are tough out there. Got to pay for that rent.
do it.
I like that there's light on you, though, man. Last couple of weeks have been a little rough to get some light on you, so it's nice to see like some bright light on you, bro. We can see you now.
It's a better camera, really. I ain't put really no lights on. I opened the blinds in my place, which helps because I was at my girlfriend's before, and it's just the cameras make a difference. You don't even fucking realize because before I was using the shitty one on my laptop. Now I'm using that 10S. The 10S camera. What up, dude? Oh.
I like this. Ron Pott says, what time is it? It's game time. That's right. It's game time. Ooh. Let's get into it. It's going to get crazy, I think, today. We got a lot to talk about. Already 45 of you all are in here. Keep joining. I'm sure we'll get the numbers way up. And please swing that cursor over. Hit that like button down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the Outlaw Nation channel, please feel free to do so you can enjoy more content just like this on the channel. But let's start off with the NBA here. The NBA, the 2020 Basketball Hall of Fame was announced. Some all-time greats in this one. Kobe Bryant leading the way. Of course, Kobe, the untimely passing of Kobe recently on January 26th puts a little bit of a bittersweet taste on this. But also you had Tim Duncan get involved in here, getting elected into Hall of Fame. Kevin Garnett as well. Coach Rudy Tomjanovich, who of course coached the Houston Rockets to 2 titles, back-to-back titles. Former WNBA star Tamika Catchings. Baylor women's basketball coach Kim Mulkey, who I was glad to see get in. Former Division II women's coach Barbara Stevens. Former Division I coach Eddie Sutton, and former FIBA executive Patrick Baumann. And the ceremony is going to happen on August 29th at the Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, you look at all of this. How incredible is it to see Kobe in this, see Tim in this, see Kevin Garnett in this? Also, how old do you feel knowing that these guys are in the Hall of Fame now? Gentlemen.
I mean, I don't feel that old. I mean, I understand they were most of them were drafted somewhere between 96 and 99. So like that, there's a part of you that wants to feel that way. But I mean, they've been relevant in the conversation and only retired for 5 years. So it's not that big of a deal. I don't think,
yeah.
But at the same time, I think what's huge about this, I mean, I think it was a no-brainer that Kobe was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Considering he's one of the greatest of all time. And I think the sad thing is I personally was very much looking forward to Kobe's Hall of Fame speech when it happened. I'm curious if maybe he already had written one, and if he did, if like it's something that someone might read. But other than that, I think that's the biggest my only disappointment of this Hall of Fame class is that I'm not going to get to see Kobe speak. I mean, Michael Jordan's speech was one of the funniest things in the world.
Oh my gosh.
When he did it, and was very meaningful. And Kobe is not one who's ever really minced words. He's been very good when it comes to public speaking. So.
Yeah, they should teach Michael Jordan's speech at any therapist conference. They should just break that thing down to show you this man needs therapy on so many levels to deal with the fact that he can't let go of these grudges 20 years later. Jay, what do you think about this whole class?
Yo, the class, we already knew the class was going to be dope. Just hearing Tim Duncan and KG in it, that was one of the things we already were excited about. And when you're hearing now, one of the big things besides Kobe, which was a no-brainer, is the level of the WNBA talent that has now been more so recently recognized.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you as a couple, I think it hasn't been since the beginning of the WNBA itself, but we're recognizing these talents, what these women do on the same level of the men. There aren't two separate Hall of Fames. You know what I'm saying? Because some people would be like, well, why isn't there a WNBA Hall of Fame? No, we don't need. It's the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. And to hear that this class, and also to have a coach such as Rudy Tomjanovich go in, you got so much history of the game itself going in this year. Kobe was a no-brainer. We all know that. We all knew, unfortunately, once we heard about his untimely passing, he was going in this year. They were not going to do the whole 5-year wait. There's no reason. The question is, even if he does have a speech or he doesn't, who's inducting him?
Yeah.
That's because they're so
yeah.
And the internet went down.
I like the Jay's frozen there.
Goes Jay.
But that's a good question.
He looks like wait a minute, John. You see him? He looks like he is really getting off to the fact that Kobe got inducted in there.
he's like but you look at the situation when Jay comes back, I'll bring him back in. I'll bring him in this way. How about that, Jay? You coming in this way?
Yeah, you're damn right I am. So listen, just move me around. We'll figure it out. It's dope that, like I said, Rudy Tomjanovich.
We can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Well, you can't hear me.
You can hear him?
That's on you and your life.
You can hear me or you can hear Jay?
I can hear Jay, yeah.
That's all he needs is to hear me.
I can't hear his ass at all.
Anyway,
What the hell?
shut up. Let me fix this out. We figure this out. Hold on.
Why don't you figure it out? I'll remove you from the stream until you do.
Okay.
Oh, you got
it.
Me?
Can you hear Winston now? Winston, can you hear him now?
I could always hear.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing. It's just
That's
like I
weird.
said.
How is it that only you can hear? Are you sure you didn't hit the mute? They can hear him too. All right, I guess I'm just not gonna hear what this nigga saying the whole time. It's kind of that's a dangerous.
Do you want me to pull you down and you fix it and come back up, Jay?
Yeah.
I'll pull you down. All right, let's keep going here. Winston, what do you think about this situation here? Someone was saying about who you think should induct him in. Who do you think should induct him into the situation?
I can see. God damn. The sad part is that I feel like who would have probably done it would have been Gianna.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Which
wow.
Which
I
is
hadn't thought about that.
really fucking sad.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with. I can either see Michael or Vanessa. You might hold off on Michael because he just gave that speech, that eulogy.
Right.
He may not have another one in him. But I would say those would be one of the two options. I mean, Dr. Buss would have been a good one too, but obviously Dr. Buss isn't here with us either. I'm noticing Matt Ward said Shaq. I actually don't hate that.
I don't hate that at all.
I think that would be very interesting, all things considered.
Yeah.
Those would probably be my top options. Would be there was somebody that he was super close to in sports that wasn't in basketball that I think would also be interesting, but my brain's not working.
Okay.
I'd have to think about it, but I think your best bets are going to be Shaq, Vanessa, or Michael.
Yeah. Someone mentioned in the chat, Duncan and KG should induct Kobe together. That would be interesting too, to see them induct Kobe together. Certainly because Duncan and Kobe had their battles with the Spurs versus the Lakers many times in the playoffs. That would be something. And of course, KG winning his championship against the Lakers. That was a thrilling moment for KG and the Celtics. So that could be interesting as well. Let's see. Jay, are you back up in this? Are you back up in here?
I just don't know no more, man.
Wait, I'm gonna pull you both back down and put you back up. Hold on.
Yeah, pull us down and put him up.
All right, we're back in this thing. All right, anyway. So
sorry, man.
It's okay. Don't apologize, bro. Just do what you can. This is having fun.
Man,
I still like the little J. I like the little J.
My funny thing is I now live 5 minutes from this motherfucker, and clearly I'm in the nice part of Van Nuys, and he in the ghetto part of Van Nuys because my internet works fine. And your internet is trash.
Well, Jay, who do you think should induct him into the Hall of Fame, induct Kobe? Someone mentioned Shaq. Other people mentioned KG and Tim Duncan doing it together. What's your feeling about this? Or maybe someone from his family, maybe Vanessa, maybe his other daughter could induct him. What do you think?
I think it's too hard to have Vanessa do it. I really do.
Okay.
I think it's too difficult. She already had to bury him and everything. And this is probably
right.
We want to celebrate his life and legacy, and it's hard when you're that close and you're emotional about it. It's gonna be hard for anybody, no matter what.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think you go out on a limb, you just do it, and you give it to Shaq.
Wow.
Let Shaq do it, because the one person you want to hear about the history with him, everything they've been through, and the way Shaq did his eulogy speech, just like Jordan gave you one, Shaq can hold up and give this speech. I think Mike would break down again. And God knows we don't need no more. We're already gonna get crying Jordan memes off of it. We already got him off of the eulogy. So I'm just gonna try to talk slow till I freeze.
Okay. What about this? Derek Fisher is a good call. What about Derek Fisher? It's kind of an unusual choice.
I'm gonna go, if we're gonna do that. I know Derek Fisher isn't a bad call. I'm gonna go Robert Ory, because my nigga Big Shot Ory, bro, he just be coming in. Big Shot Rob, just for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Just let him come in and do it. Oh, Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson would be a great one.
Considering he wrote that book and everything like that, Phil Jackson would be an interesting choice to induct him in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's certainly a possibility as well. I just think everyone feels like Shaq should be the one to kind of close that circle of the the issues they had with each other and what have you.
He already did that. He did that at the funeral.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah.
But inducting him, though, there's a whole nother level to that I think could add something that would be exciting to see as well. But I hear you.
Just for the record, if my internet cuts out again, I'm just going to say to hell with it and start working out. Just how frustrated
No, hell no. You're going to come back. I need you, bro. I need you for this show. Let's see. Jerry West. Somebody said Jerry West. I don't want to put Jerry West on the stage for that. Rick Fox. Rick Fox is interesting. Yeah, what's up?
I was just gonna say, I'm just looking at the trades right now. They're saying that Vanessa actually spoke on Kobe's Hall of Fame induction. I'll see if I can play it real quick.
Okay.
Give me half a second. I'm just gonna mute my shit and I'm gonna listen to it and I'll report back.
Okay. All right. Jay, what do you think about the situation? Stephen A was on ESPN and he said that he thought Duncan had a better career than Kobe. Do you agree with that?
You know what? Let me say this from the bottom of my heart. Fuck Stephen A. Smith and his hairline. How dare you say Tim Duncan had a? I mean, they're two different positions, and I know a lot of Kobe's career is predicated on Kobe was a ball hawk. Kobe was a ball hawk. He was a gun. All he did was shoot. And yeah, Tim Duncan was always a team player. But at the same time, when you look at impact on the game, when you look at overall how you changed and how you looked at the game, and like you said, greatest of all times, Tim Duncan goes in that ranking. Yes.
Oh yeah.
But Kobe's higher. Kobe's career was well more illustrious as a whole than Tim Duncan's was. So, I mean, Stephen A. Smith says stuff just to be saying it sometimes and just to, make banter. But I can't agree with that, man.
It's an interesting conversation to have because you look at Kobe. Kobe won 5 NBA titles, 1 MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, and he's an 18-time All-Star and 4-time All-Star MVP. And the league renamed the All-Star MVP trophy after him in February after he passed. He averaged 35.4 points a game in 2005, 2006. He is 4th on the league's all-time scoring list, and he's won 2 Olympic gold medals with Team USA. But with Duncan, you've also got 5 titles with the Spurs, 3 Finals MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs. He made the All-Star game 15 times. He was on the all-defensive team 8 times, and all-NBA performer 15 times. And he's one of 5 players in NBA history to score at least 26,000 points and collect 15,000 rebounds at least. So I think you can make a great case. That would be an awesome battle if you were going to have like a sports fights between Kobe and Garnett, Goni and Duncan, who had the better career.
But at the same time, we're looking at 2 different positions.
No, I agree. Can y'all hear me? The mic back on?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Am I here?
Jay, say something? God damn it. That's fine. It's just me. Yeah, I'll figure it out. There's something going on probably with my AirPods. It doesn't matter. But the point is, just listening to it, Vanessa essentially was like, this is the great. Oh, he can't hear me.
Oh, I can hear you.
Fine.
I can hear you.
Don't worry about it, Jay. It's not important.
Can you hear me?
Everybody else can hear each other. I will fix it in a second.
But I can hear you.
They essentially were saying that for Kobe, she said that this was the greatest, accomplishment in Kobe's career is being named in the Hall of Fame, and that it capitalized on everything. Obviously, the championships were big, the MVPs were big, but this is the biggest thing, and how proud she is. And it was very sad because she, I guess, she did it on SportsCenter. And she was already you could hear her breaking down in her voice as she was doing it. So I have a feeling, that being said, she probably will not induct him, knowing that if just talking about it on Sports Center is getting her that wound up, because if I remember correctly, she chose not to speak at the funeral, right? Yeah, so I think that this might be the same thing. I think that she lets somebody else handle that. So,
well, who inducts Duncan? I mean, you've got what?
David Robinson.
Parker?
David Robinson. Either David Robinson or Pop. It's either David Robinson or Pop. It's one of the two.
All right, I'm gonna try this. I'll be right back.
This nigga go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ghettoest game time the Rocha's ever had.
I'm doing the best I can, man.
No, it's okay, but it's more than it probably is Popovich more so than anything.
Yeah.
But it just would seem, Pop seems like the heir apparent to do it in a sense. But it's just something about having David Robinson, the other half of the Twin Towers, having the Admiral give that speech. It's just something about it. But I know after David Robinson left and retired, you had Duncan still there. You had his entire career. So I can see Pop.
Yeah, I can see Pop doing it too. I think that's the right choice overall for him. And if not him, then I like the idea of David Robinson. I actually really enjoy that because I think Parker and Ginobili kind of cancel each other out. So you kind of have to go with someone who's really kind of stepping out.
Who would ever think that Tony Parker or Michael Ginobili?
Those guys are essential to his championships. Both Parker and Ginobili.
No, I'm sorry.
Kawhi Leonard.
If my 6-year-old is actually watching this, if my Leah's watching this because I sent her mama the link, Leah, daddy's sorry for acting a fool.
Oh, great! Now we can't hear Winston.
Now we can't hear this nigga at all.
I don't know what you foolish ass is doing, man. Select the mic on your on your tools.
This is how you look. This is you.
Yeah.
That ragged ass beard. Anyway,
if you go to the settings, you can select your microphone. So anyway, he's trying to run it through the iPhone. That's the problem.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Tell you what, we'll nod our heads. We can hear you, man. Anyway, all right, let's take Winston down until he can get in the situation. Anyway, Jay, so this whole situation, new Verizon commercial. Louis Macias says, "Can you hear me now? How about now?" Literally saying Winston needs RV3 tech help.
Probably.
Oh man. Anyway, but what about Garnett? Like, who inducts Garnett? Is that do we bring Steph Marbury back from China? If we're closing loops, let's close some loops, man.
The big ticket. Who do you if you really want to know my Chicago opinion, who we bring? You bring back all the vice lords from the West Side that went to Marshall with them. That's who you. If you really
like a dangerous idea.
Get all the West Side vice lords and deal together. Bring them. But no, it's hard when you think of Kevin Garnett.
Yeah,
because that's not somebody. We know what he did in Minnesota. Himself. But I think at the end of the day, you look at his Celtics career then, and then when you go down to Celtics career, then it's got to be Paul Pierce. There's nobody else. Because it's hard to look at Minnesota. He made his name in Minnesota, yes. But then you go to his Celtics career, and it's Paul Pierce and KG. So it's got to be Pierce.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Pierce is there.
Farragut. I'm sorry, Farragut. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I confuse my West Side high schools. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only like 8 of them. It's only like 8 of them. Like anybody.
Someone said Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale. Would be an interesting choice, giving him all those chances. Doc Rivers? I wonder if Doc Rivers would make sense.
Well, Doc Rivers would lose his voice halfway through the speech.
Oh, and he did this, and then played,
So Kevin was agreed. And then all of a sudden, you were like, what the fuck happened to Doc voice?
Someone said Roddy Fields. Roddy Fields, what?
Just going to reach out there for this one.
Oh, Sam Cassell would be interesting. Sam Cassell would be interesting for KG. I like that idea.
Oh, dude, the living bug. Yo, like,
I like that.
Look like an ant.
Do we have a chance? What's the deal?
I mean, does it work?
Oh, yeah. We got it.
What is wrong with me and Jay? Why does it never work?
I can hear you. Jay can't hear you.
Low-key, I can hear him. I just want to fuck with him.
You're so fucking disrespectful. You're the most disrespectful bitch that ever did this. I swear to God.
This is the best.
Hey, you talking about who to induct now? KG?
KG.
Yeah, who do you think should induct KG?
the reporter that interviewed him when he was like, anything is possible.
Oh yeah, right. That one. Oh my god, I still hate that thing.
Yeah. Or you can get Paul Pierce, and Paul Pierce can talk about how it's his Hall of Fame inductions because that's always how he likes it.
There's no way Paul Pierce doesn't make it about himself the whole time while he's inducting. KG.
That's what would make it the best though. Just to watch KG sitting there getting pissed off.
Oh, I like this idea. Adam Sandler out of Uncut Gems.
I thought that too. But I thought instead of that, Lakeith Stanfield.
Stanfield.
Whatever, nigga.
You better know your black actors. What's wrong with you?
I know Lakeith with his goofy ass saying things you don't need to be saying and shit.
I like it. We got over 104 of you guys in here. Thank you so much for joining us. Please swing over, hit that like button on this thing. Also, send in your Streamlabs, send in your super chats. We want to answer your questions about sports. Maybe Jay will do a Shaq imitation for you. If you put above $20, you do a Shaq imitation of induction.
Yeah, right.
Shaq is probably better than his.
I bet you it's not.
Oh, okay.
I bet you it's not.
I bet you it is.
I got
$20. We'll do it.
$20.
You know what?
No, I'm saying if someone asks for it, I'll fucking do that shit. Let's go.
There we go. All right. So put in 20. You get either one of them. You get to request either one of them doing a Shaq inducting Kobe. And then Winston can do Obama inducting Duncan. That just makes all kinds of sense in the world. Obama and Duncan. Both the chillest brothers on the planet.
Yo, I was going to say, but Tim Duncan probably... He's gonna have his Dockers salesman actually fucking induct.
Right.
Because all he ever does is wear them fucking button downs and khakis.
Oh, I like this idea. Bill Simmons would do it. Bill Simmons would absolutely induct KG. He would love to do that. I like Wally Zerbiak. Wally Zerbiak coming out of nowhere.
First of all, I love how they gave up. I love how they just put it back up there. I love how they just gave up on this list.
Just a busy action. I like that they got the first part and the last part right, and everything in the middle is a big mess.
Bro.
It just started crashing Keith.
That is genius. So much genius. I love it. I love it. So we'll see what happens. I think it goes off on August 29th, I think is when it's supposed to go off. So that'll be good to see at least a little bit of something, little NBA something. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, my birthday is on the 25th.
We need it so bad.
Something needs to happen. My birthday on the 25th, and I'm hitting a big milestone in my birthday. So we finna party. Look, I've been stopping drinking for a while.
What are you, 75?
Let me tell you something, you half-breed bitch.
Whoa. Not here.
I'm sorry. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll do that tomorrow.
Well, you spoke about Jordan earlier, Jay. Let's move on to our next story, and that's the Chicago Bulls documentary that everyone has been frustrated about. That was a year away. Well, everybody got on the internet and we're saying, look, we're all sitting at home. You need to move this damn thing up. And ESPN actually listened. The Michael Jordan 1990 Chicago Bulls documentary, The Last Dance, will now be moved to April 19th by ESPN. This was first reported by the New York Post, so you want to give them a shout out. It's 2 1-hour episodes that will air each Sunday between April 19th and May 17th. So it's going on for a while. So it's a 10-episode series, and it focuses on Jordan, the final Jordan Bulls championship from 97 to 98. It was scheduled to air in June in conjunction with the NBA Finals, but who knows if that's happening. So they kind of altered this stuff. So apparently it's a sit-down.
My bad.
Right. It's sit-down interviews with dozens of former NBA players and celebrities, including Adam Silver, Barack Obama, Kobe Bryant, Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, Dennis Rodman, Phil Jackson, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Roy Williams, Carmen Electra, and Justin Timberlake all make appearances. So Netflix is involved in this nuttiness too. So are you happy, Jay, as a Chicago Bulls fan, that this is happening here and we're getting it sooner rather than later?
Man, you already know words can express my excitement about this. Again, we heard it was coming and everybody was like, yes, here it comes. And then all this happened. The world changed. It was like, yo, that's why when we started getting everything else, I think that's the only thing that made this get pushed. When we started getting movies that were theatrically supposed to be released to just come straight to video on demand and all this other stuff, everybody was just like, yo, just let it happen. You got it. Just do it. You definitely go get way more ratings now than you would have then.
Oh, yeah.
If you drop it in the summer, a lot of people are outside. I mean, granted, most, me, one of those people believe in, most people will be outside in the summer, but at the same time, you're guaranteed at this point in time to get eyes on it, to have lived in Chicago, to be a born and bred Chicagoan, to watch all 6 championships, to watch the final one happen, to watch everything that it took for that team to get there and to show how they still was this team to do it. It's great to see a lot of the behind the scenes, though, is what I'm really interested to see, and to see how the team, hung out. I know I was privy to a little bit when it came to Jordan because of my aunt's relationship with Juanita, his ex-wife. So my aunt and Juanita used to bowl together, and so because of that, so that's how I got to meet Mike. So I met Mike before I worked at the United Center. So when I started working there, he would introduce me to certain players. Like he would introduce me to Ron Harper. He would introduce me to Scotty. I'll never forget him talking about Ron Harper and stuttering.
Wow.
Did I what?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Winston's just like he doesn't like you name dropping the way you're dropping right now.
It's only because Rocha, every time this motherfucker talks about anything, so yeah, my boy, Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, because my auntie doesn't know so and so, and my uncle cut so and so. Like this nigga apparently every single one. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. It could be some shit like, oh yeah, Nelson Mandela and Bishop Tutu. I knew both of them because my cousin's ex-wife's former roommate used to play mini golf with them on Fridays. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Every time. Apparently knows everybody.
He's got connections.
First of all, I need you not to hate on the fact that I have been blessed and privy to know people. Now, if you want me to name drop for real, my aunt's godfather was James Brown, the Godfather. Now, since you want to keep talking shit, and we can carry this over to the show tomorrow, but no, I got a chance. I don't care about your little eyes like this. Hi, I'm light skinned. Anyway, but to see that it's
okay. He wish he was. He's self-hating.
I can't get involved. Go ahead,
If you want to call the Black Lantern,
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
But what else to see? Seriously, to know some of those things that happen, to see some of those relationships that we never really got to see. Like you see on the court relationships all the time. So you know, as a team and a camaraderie, when you're going in a battle, you know one thing. But to see how they hung out again, to watch them rip on Ron Harper and call him a stumbling, mumbling mouth motherfucker was the greatest thing ever to see in person.
It's going to be insane. I'm looking forward to it. Winston, did you watch this team when you were growing up? Were you a big, were you a Bulls fan, or were you more like a Bulls appreciator for what they were doing?
I was a big basketball fan growing up. Obviously, who wasn't a fan of Michael Jordan? I think one of the sad things being in Dallas is our team was just not that great until you got around when Dirk and Nash got drafted. So you're looking at, you had Jamal Mashburn and Jason Kidd. And then who was our third? We had a third. It's skipping, but my brain isn't figuring it out right now. But we essentially called it the 3 J's, which was interesting, but they never were competing for shit. They were barely trying to get winning seasons. You know what I mean?
The only thing they were competing for was Tony Braxton. Everybody knows that. So, that was the sad truth.
The girl is mine type shit.
She broke that whole team up. Yeah.
Oh, yes, she did. But who didn't love Michael Jordan, man? I mean, Space Jam, man. And fucking the fact that he just goes back to back to back to back to back. That was everybody's hero. So while I wasn't following closely to the Bulls, because again, I was really more concerned about Jerry Stackhouse. Thank you. I was more concerned with my own squad. Yeah. If a Michael Jordan game was on, you were watching a Michael Jordan game. It's very simple. You know what I mean? Like that, he was the world's sports hero.
Yep, agreed. I loved watching. I forgot Carmen Electra she did it, Dennis Rodman at the time. I forgot that was going down. Yeah, for me, I loved the Bulls. I loved what Jordan did. I mean, he's one of those players who you got to get behind and watch and appreciate what he can do with other people and what how good he brings out. I mean, the good he brings out of every player is incredible. And yeah, behind the scenes, probably not the easiest guy to get along with or to be friends with on a team. But if you bring your A game, he respects you. And more often than not, we've seen him toss the ball to another player for the game-winning shot. Steve Kerr hitting the game-winning shot. Paxson hitting the game-winning shot. He has done this multiple times. Oh, is Jay frozen again? He has done this multiple times. So it's that kind of situation that I appreciate with Jordan. And I loved watching this team. And Rodman was such a great, interesting X factor in the whole game whenever Rodman was involved, because like who else could control Rodman but Jordan and Pippen? It was shocking to see that those guys were able to get through to him in other ways other people couldn't.
That to me is why I love Meta World Peace as much as I do, because that was the whole situation with the Kobe Gasol Lakers.
Yeah, is
that like it's all of a sudden you got all these cats that are like serious about shit, and it's not that Meta World Peace isn't serious about ball, but he's just a little. And so, but what was hilarious is thinking about how for that game where Kobe, the game 7 that the Lakers won against the Celtics, how Kobe couldn't hit a shot to save his life. And Meta's just out here shooting threes. They're like, no, Meta, no. It's like, oh, good job, bro. Like, that's kind of how things were with Rodman as well. It was just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But, like, it worked. So,
yeah. But Rodman, it really did work. Before Jay comes up, we'll say this is super chat here. What did you guys think of the Firefly Funhouse match? Listen to Christian talk about it for a little bit. He said he didn't like it. We're definitely going to get to the WrestleMania 36 stuff on the tail end of the show. So stay tuned for that, Code Man. We're definitely going to get to it, brother, man. Thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Let's see if we got any Streamlabs that have come. What's going on here? Oh, let's see if we got any Streamlabs that have come through here at this point. No, not yet. So let's jump into our next thing. Do you see Jay yet? Is he roaming around down there? I don't see him yet.
I don't see him.
Okay.
No.
I don't see him either. All right. Let's keep moving on then. All right, and the next thing we're looking for, this is what I needed Jay for too, is the Bulls. They seem to be looking for a new president. They are, this is according to ESPN's Adrian Wojciechowski, saying that the Bulls seem to be moving on from executive vice president John Paxton and general manager Gar Forman, affectionately and not affectionately known as Gar. Am I gone?
You disappeared. I was like, I guess I'm part of the show.
Am I in?
I don't know. Yeah, you're back.
Are you by yourself? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Jay, there we go. Let me take Winston down, and I'll bring Winston back up. Boom. Are you there, Jay?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Okay, I can hear you.
I just tried opening the door to my room now so I can let the Wi-Fi come in better. I feel like
bro, we got to get you an extender or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I've got to find a cord. I just need a full long ass cord for the Ethernet. That's probably
okay. Here's the real deal. I have a genuine question before we get back to the topics. How much shit are you running simultaneously? Honestly, are you running your laptop? No, but okay. I was just saying, it depends on what, like, make sure you don't have both your computers running and your phone. If Vanessa's in the house, if she's not downloading some shit, like. All right, little Jay, my bad, dog. I'm just trying to figure it out. That's all.
I don't know no more. I'll be here every day.
All right. Well, first, let me ask this one thing, because I was bringing up the Garpack stuff. But let me ask you, Jay, which three-peat do you prefer? The first three-peat or the second three-peat? Which is more magical to you?
Oh, that's difficult. That's difficult. I think the second, because of the break that it took, and then to come back and dominate those ways. The second one had flu game.
Yeah, true.
The second one had flu game. So I think the second one stands out the most. Like you saw the first one and you were like, all right, this team is rolling. Then you get the Jordan retiring and you're like, okay, so this is over. But then he comes back, and then when he comes back to the team, it's like, all right, let's see wait a minute, this is happening. And you saw the pieces start coming together even more. You know, the addition of Rodman and everything. It's just like the second one.
Yeah. I kind of what about you, Winston? Do you prefer either three-peat?
I would say the first, and the only reason why is because the one part of history that I am very familiar with is Jordan with the Bad Boys. And how he had to get through them. Jordan was not Michael Jordan until he learned how to beat the Bad Boy Pistons, honestly. And that was actually one of my favorite. There were two different docuseries that one was a podcast and one was 30 for 30. Obviously, the Bad Boy 30 for 30 was great. But then there was a docuseries. It was amazing. And there was a docuseries called, I believe it's called Sports Fights. And they pick like two different elements against each other. So it was Isaiah versus Jordan. And they go even further into depth, specifically that rivalry.
Is this a contest where he drinks as long as you talk? Is this a rivalry? Is a contest?
I mean, if that's the case. I was okay with that. I was going to let him just fucking choke. That would have been fine. I would talk forever. Filibuster his ass. But I'm just saying that. Like,
That was genius.
That to me was the only real challenge that Jordan have, other than the flu game. I don't think Michael Jordan really had a challenge other than the bad boy Pistons. That was the only thing that he dealt with in his career that was a real fight for him. So for me, that first one is more important.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, the Pacers and Knicks took him to the limit both times when he was doing that. Reggie and of course the Patrick Ewing and all those guys there, John Starks and all that. But in the end, they didn't have the mental energy to beat Jordan once he became Jordan. The Pistons were the last time that he was legitimately challenged all the way to the end by a team and lost. Of course, if you want to factor in that Orlando, but he came in halfway through the season. He wasn't fully in shape. And he was wearing the wrong number, that 45 number. So if you want to hang that on him, feel free to do that. But all that did was motivated me even more to go and tear up everybody for the next 3 years. I like the second three-peat more because of the crazy X factors of Rodman. I like the idea that they hit the 72-win season. Oh my God, I dropped that again. The 72-win season was incredible during the second run as well. So I like that, Jordan, which is why I like that they're focusing on that time and focusing all that series. It's going to be fun to hear their thoughts and their remembrances of those. And the fact that it's a 10-part series, my God, how deep are they going wild. In?
I feel like they honestly. They're feeling themselves so much from the OJ one that won an Oscar.
Oh,
I think they were like, fuck it, let's just go in. Because even the most recent one that I think the most recent one, there may have been one in between, but the biggest one so far has been Vic. And that was a two-parter. That was also roughly about an hour 45 per episode. I got to finish the second one, which was also very interesting because it's the same thing. You're a kid, you're living through it, but you're not paying attention to it. Right. So to actually know the ins and outs of how that actually broke down was super interesting too. So.
Yeah, and he's a Virginia boy, so that was for me. I followed so much about that with Michael Vick because of Virginia Tech. He went to Virginia Tech, and so everything that went around him was pretty crazy. Just like Iverson. Someday somebody's going to do I know there's a good 30 for 30 for Iverson. It's only an hour long. Somebody's got to explore a full-on Iverson doc would be great, like a 2 to 4 hour doc.
If I remember, there was another one that wasn't 30 for 30. I think it's on Netflix.
Oh, really? Okay.
About Iverson.
I should find that one out then. Yeah. Someone said the Jazz team was a force too. Yeah, they were a force, but Jordan handled them both times. It wasn't an issue for him to do so. And yes, he pushed off on that final shot. I'm never going to say he didn't. So, give him props for that. Hopefully we'll get Jay back at some point. But anyway, the Chicago Bulls story, we'll figure that out as we go along with Garpax. And if Jay comes back, I'll swing back around to that story. Winston, they've got this idea that they want to play horse. The NBA and ESPN, they're trying to schedule a horse contest. For those of you who don't know what a horse is, it's between two players.
You ride it.
You ride the horse. That's right.
Down the Old Town Road and until you can't no more. That's essentially what that is.
It's true. As an outlaw, let me tell you what a horse is all about. The horse competition basketball is you shoot.
I'm just saying instead of playing horse, they should play cowboy because that's what I'm saying. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. That's what I tell my girlfriend.
Oh wow.
Every night.
This guy, a little big rich reference. I respect that. But yeah, you got the situation. Horses, when you shoot the ball from a crazy angle on the court, then the person after you has to match that. If they don't, they get the letter. So this is an interesting situation. I like the 2K competition they were showing in ESPN. That was a lot of fun to watch guys playing the video games and going at each other, things of that nature, because they play that game a lot. But the horse situation, I don't know what anyone gets out of that other than seeing their favorite players play that. I don't know what you get out of it. It's just this much above or below the dunk competition.
I mean, real talk though, I'm trying to see Trae Young go up against Steph Curry and see how he measures up to the greatest shooter ever to a kid that's essentially supposedly his protege, not directly under him. It's not necessarily his mentor, but you know what I'm saying, where he's supposed to be the hot new handle shooter. In his second year now. So I think that would actually be super interesting. Though I would be more interested in just you canceled the games because you can't have all those people in the stadium, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I would so be down for treating it like a big three for the rest of the season and do a minimal amount, make sure that they're all clear, they don't have it, and then just have 3-on-3 or even a 2-on-2 NBA Jam, NBA Street shit where they're just out there. The only problem with doing that though is if you televise it, which obviously that's the point. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of N-words dropped all the time. Nigga, pass the ball. Look out! You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
It's gonna be bad. I think this is the real reason they don't want to play without crowds is because the crowds help mute that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We can barely
to a minimum.
Dude, we can barely stop cussing on Schmodown backstage. So I can't even imagine with these guys playing ball, and Christian goes insane. And I can't imagine with these guys playing ball. You're right. They might throw the words around and see what you do. I guess you have a 6-second delay on that in that kind of situation, but then it's like a rap song on regular radio. What's the point of even listening to it?
What's the point? You're damn right, man.
Drives me nuts, man. It's like watching Scarface with all the bleeps. It makes no sense. Hopefully Jay will come back at some point. I don't know what's going to happen if he can work his way back. But Jay, if you're listening or if you're watching, get back in here. Don't you dare go work out, son. It's okay that it's not working out. It's still fun for the fans who are listening. King Nirvana dropped in a super chat. He said the Rockets almost went to the finals during '98. Do you think that was the more great matchup than the Jazz? Yeah, that's right. The Jazz did upset the Rockets that year. Would the Rockets have been a better matchup for the Bulls? I wonder, but we would have answered the question once and for all, because so many people said the Rockets won those back-to-back titles because Jordan wasn't in the league. We would have had them go at it like kind of Ali Frazier type thing and get a resolution finally between those two teams. So it would have been fun to see. What do you think, Winston?
I mean, I completely agree. I think it would have been. It's one of the things that I think have been said about in sports for years. We never got a Breeze Brady Super Bowl,
right?
I mean, you're getting that now in the rivalry, but they're both over the hill. Like, I mean, they both can ball, but they're not. Let's be real, they are not who they were when they were at their peaks.
Mm-hmm.
So will it be interesting? Sure, but not maybe as interesting.
Yeah,
I do think that that's the stuff that you miss. You wish that you would get the greatest going up against the greatest. We got that multiple times out of the Warriors and the Cavaliers, which was super interesting.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it is something that I regret didn't happen, but
that's sports though. That's the way it goes. Corey Cameron, he said he disagrees with me. He said I'm more interested in horse than the current NBA 2K tournament that's going on. All right, to each his own.
Well, that's fair.
I think horse would bore me to pieces. I'd rather watch the 2K tournament because I like how they give each other shit and ball bust. It feels like just hanging out with the regular dudes, just giving each other shit. All right, the Garpex thing we'll come back to later, as I said. So let's move on to the NFL All-Decade Team. This was announced. Tom Brady leading the picks here as a unanimous choice. There were only 8 unanimous choices amongst the entire list of the All-Decade Team for the NFL. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Adrian Peterson, which I was surprised to see, Joe Thomas, Justin Tucker, J.J. Watt, and offensive guard Marshall Yanda were the only ones, along with Tom Brady, who were unanimous picks amongst the players. The 2 coaches who got in were Bill Belichick, logically, and surprisingly, to me at least, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll got in. Doesn't surprise you over Sean Payton or anybody else? It doesn't surprise you? Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because the Saints have been very hit or miss. They're very all over the place.
Okay.
They have obviously been extremely good. There's no doubt about that. They've been extremely good, but they have not been consistent. The one thing I will give the Seahawks, even if they've had a few down moments, they've been consistent for the last decade. They were the team to beat the last decade in the NFC with the Saints and the Vikings and the Packers randomly coming in and out when they feel like it. I would love to say the Cowboys, but they never got their shit together and couldn't get past the first round of the playoffs except once. So that's not a real thing. Some of these that are kind of interesting to me.
Let's go through them.
I am just looking on the defensive side.
Okay.
I'm glad that JJ and Aaron Donald make sense about like unanimous. Same thing with Von Miller. I'm a little surprised that Patrick Peterson wasn't an automatic. I know he's kind of fallen off the last couple of years, but I guess is that supposed to be? I guess it's 10 to 20. So I guess if you're saying the last 2 years, then maybe he hasn't been. But I'm very, very surprised that Gronk and that Aaron Rodgers weren't both unanimous. That's wild to me.
Right.
It just doesn't. It doesn't necessarily make sense. Just because those were 2 people that have consistently dominated at their position, even when Gronk, I think maybe the only thing that working against Gronk is the fact that he got injured multiple times and the Patriots kept rolling. That might be the argument against him there. but it's amazing how the minute Gronk is in the game, how infinitely more lethal they become.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I feel like that would be the argument that you needed him in there. But I guess the only other thing that's super interesting, just looking at it, is like you see what Julio, Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitz, and Antonio Brown. I'm surprised that none of them were unanimous. I could have easily put Julio or Antonio as unanimous. I think maybe what hurt Antonio was this last year.
Yeah. And Julio the year before couldn't get in the end zone to save his life. Put up great numbers, just couldn't get in the end zone. But for me, Fitz is the one that's surprising to me. There has not been
that he made it, or that
he didn't get unanimous, because he is one of the most consistent receivers, and he's had to play for some crappy fucking quarterbacks down there in Arizona, and still he's made it work. Still he's had career years. Still he's had touchdowns and yards and whatever. And he's been a workman-like guy every year doing his thing. So if you're going to put him on the list, in my opinion, he belongs unanimously on that list. I'm surprised he didn't make it that far. But Calvin Johnson retiring early was surprising too, making the list.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't, because remember he broke the what was it? He's with the reception of the yards.
Oh, right.
Remember, yes. But he broke that, which that by itself is going to put you up there. Larry Fitz, that doesn't surprise me. And the main reason that Larry Fitz doesn't surprise me is the simple fact that, like, you're in a situation with Larry Fitzgerald that he never, like, early on in his career, doing all sorts of crazy shit. He's still putting up numbers, and he's Mr. Reliable. He's more old reliable than Jason Witten, was for Dallas at a tight end position.
Fair. Absolutely.
But he has not been. The only thing you could say about him is, damn, he's still producing. He hasn't been a top 5 receiver in the league for years. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I don't think you give him the unanimous type thing, because that's the thing. When you talk quarterbacks in the league, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, those three have consistently, and you could say Peyton Manning, but he retired years ago, which is why he's probably not on this list. Yeah. But, like, the three of them have consistently, so that doesn't make sense to me that Aaron Rodgers didn't get it, or even Drew Brees didn't get it. They didn't even make the all-decade roster. I guess you only get 2 quarterbacks, so if you have to pick between the 3, I don't
know. I don't know if I would have put Aaron Rodgers over Drew Brees. I feel like Drew Brees is a more consistent quarterback, and I think he puts up better numbers than Rodgers overall. And I think he has shown a talent to bring a team, even when it's less talented than it is, farther than Rodgers has done with a less talented team. That's what I just think. I was surprised by that. I think Drew Brees deserved it more, maybe because he sat out for that 1 year. Jay, any chance? Any chances working now, Jay? No, he took himself out. All right, well, that's a shame. Somebody said, what about Tony Gonzalez as tight end? I think he retired too early to be part of it, right?
Hold on, let's see. Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, there you go. You're in.
Retired.
Nope. Well, all right. Jay, you frozen?
See, that's the thing. He retired in 2013. So he retired in 2013. It's been 7 years. He missed most of the decade, so I don't think that works.
Someone said Tomlin, Connor Pearson Ward, saying Mike Tomlin should have been considered for coach over Pete Carroll, but I don't think so either. I think your argument is correct. This idea that Carroll was the team to beat. The Seahawks were the team to beat. He coached them. He got them close. They should have won a second Super Bowl against those Patriots. This is a coach that's been incredible.
That might be the one thing that takes Pete Carroll off this list, is deciding to fucking let Russell Wilson throw that ball instead of letting arguably the best player on your team finish it. At that time, Marshawn Lynch was the best player on that team. Russell Wilson will eventually, he was already well on his way to becoming who he is. Yeah. But Marshawn Lynch was that offense, and then Marshawn was at a 10. And Russell was at a 9.5. Yeah. Eventually, obviously, Russell becomes that 10, and then Marshawn slowly starts to dip. But that's the only thing that might take Pete Carroll off this list, in my opinion.
And the thing is, Marshawn Lynch is on this all-decade team, so that makes that mistake even more exaggerated when you look at the fact that he didn't run him. So Jay says he's sorry. He has no idea what's happening. He's beyond frustrated, apologetic for messing up the show. You're not messing up the show, brother, man. Figure it out and come in. Figure it out and come in. Will you text him that, Winston? Figure it out and come into the show. That's what Rocha says. Figure it out and come in the show. We'll move on. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of everyone that was selected. Somebody mentioned AJ Green could have been one of those receivers. I could see that, but the Bengals were always kind of underperforming. But AJ was always good. I could have seen that. But who do you take out for AJ?
That's what I'm saying. Missing a year, maybe Larry Fitz, but no. But like missing a year and a half. He never, I would say with all of these receivers in this decade that they listed, let me pull this back up before I finish texting Jay.
Antonio Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones. Yeah.
All 4 of them had been the number 1 receiver in the league at one point. AJ Green never did that. And I think that's the biggest thing that you have to take into consideration is if they were at the top of the league. And I could also say that about all these running backs. Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, Marshawn Lynch, and Frank Gore. The only thing about AP that doesn't make sense to me, AP has still been relevant this decade, but his main crux, I feel like, was like from 2008 until about like 2014. So it's more, you kind of had a little bit of a coming in from the so for him to get unanimous when he hasn't been unanimously that good in this decade is a little weird to me.
Yeah, it is weird, right? Like 4 or 5 years, it feels like he didn't quite produce as strongly as he had before. So it seems odd. Plus the being suspended for abusing his children, all that kind of stuff. And on the Redskins, he's done decent work every few games, but he's not been like consistently dragging that team to victories and putting them in playoff contention. And I know we were 6-3 that one year, but like, come on, get real. It was never going to be Larry Peterson or Adrian Peterson dragging us into the playoffs on his feet. So,
you know, if I'm not mistaken, I can't think of a single team that actually won a Super Bowl, at least in this modern era, just off of somebody's feet. That's not really a thing, because if you even look at Emmitt Smith, if you want to go back to that as the first elite, the last elite running back to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
He had Troy Aikman and Michael Irving helping him out. He had one hell of a defense in Dallas too. So that was not, of course, he's a major keystone of that team, of that offense.
Yeah.
But he had to have Troy and Michael bailing him out as well. Otherwise, 8 in the box, you'll eventually shut them down. They'll get tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Even that, what was it? I mean, it just doesn't make sense overall. Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%, man. Somebody said Jimmy Graham stealing votes, I think. Maybe that was messing up some stuff for the tight end side. So I could see that.
But that's weird to me, because if you notice, Jimmy Graham has not really been in the conversation for years.
Yeah,
like
at least
he
4 or 5 years.
He had what, a 2 or 3 year run where at the Saints, that's exactly what he was. But what happened, and I think where he got exposed, Jimmy Graham can't block to save his life.
Yeah, true.
Like,
very true.
He is purely just a really big receiver. He goes and does what he did on a basketball court for Miami, and he goes up and he gets boards. And that's why he becomes like a threat. Any Saints fan will tell you they didn't want to see Jimmy go, but they were happy to let him go because like, the nigga don't block. I'm not worried about him. So, you know what I mean? It's all good in that regard.
Jay, any chance you're in? Jay? Yeah.
Woo! Did that work? Did it use your phone on cellular instead?
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, my phone, I don't know what's going on.
It genuinely might be like how we can troubleshoot it at a later time. My question would be to you: how long has it been since you guys have replaced your modem and router?
It's been about a couple months.
Oh, you just replaced it?
It's not been a super long time.
Okay, well then I got nothing. But
all right,
it could just be the service out here right now.
I'm just like just ridiculous. Oops, my bad.
Sorry, brother, man. Can you join in on your phone? Is that possible or no?
That's it. That's him on his phone.
Oh, you are even on your phone. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, do what you can, Jay, to stay on.
It's got to be something in the whole area.
Okay.
Oh my God, the Matrix got him! Oh, the Matrix got him, John! No!
Dude, yeah. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. It's so odd. Maybe someone's stealing your internet. That's a possibility too, man. Change your passcode to something really difficult. That happens too. I've seen that happen many times.
Oh, John, you will not believe, bro, because like so since I'm by myself, I said when I set up my internet, I said, "Oh shit, that means I can set my Wi-Fi network to whatever the fuck I want."
Exactly.
So the 2G one is just Green Hill Zone, And then so any Sonic fans out there will know, and you can try and guess the password. But the other one, I went deep as a motherfucker, and I named the network UNSC Pillar of Autumn for all the Halo fans. But the password is so many goddamn symbols and numbers and shit, you would shit yourself.
So that's how you do it. People are always trying to gank the internet. It's crazy. One last thing. Corey Cameron said he feels like Jared Allen got snubbed. Do you feel that way? I don't know.
No.
Yeah. I think he did a decent job for a couple of years, 3 years, but not enough to be consistent enough to be on the list, in my opinion. Yeah. I think so.
I completely agree. The only other person that I could think of, maybe, but again, he was retired by that point. I think about Urlacher. I remember that he became but he hasn't been. He retired very long ago. I want to say he retired in 2013. He didn't play most of the decade, but I just remember him even in his last year being synonymous with, oh fuck, they got sacked again.
Yeah. Absolutely agree with that. If you guys want to come in and join us, I don't know what's going to happen with Jay. I'm going to put the link in here. If you want to join us and ask us questions live, we'll go for a little bit. I think if Jay's out, maybe we'll wrap this thing up a little bit early at 3:30. But if you want to jump in and ask questions, feel free. Come on in and ask us some stuff, and we'll answer it as best we can. We'll move on to our next story, and that's the Antonio Brown story. Speaking of someone who was on the all-decade team, this is coming out of the state of Florida, of course, Florida. He had levied 3 formal charges on him for an alleged January assault that resulted in his arrest. He faces felony burglary, conveyance, misdemeanor battery, and misdemeanor criminal mischief charges, according to Broward County. And he's got so much trouble already. Throw this on top of the pile. He turned himself into authorities on January 23rd after a delivery truck driver, alleged Brown and his trainer assaulted him outside of Brown's South Florida home 2 days earlier. The driver was attempting to deliver Brown's household items from California. Brown was in charge with felony burglary with battery. And then the misdemeanor charge states that Brown was actually and intentionally striking the driver against his will. The criminal mischief charge states that Brown maliciously injured the driver's property of $200 or less. And they might do a plea deal because of coronavirus and all this kind of jazz. And the NFL still has to look at, and they're still processing the Brittany Taylor accusations from his former trainer. So you see this, man. What is your overall thought on this? Why can't this guy stay out of trouble? We saw him training with Lamar Jackson. The stories broke over the weekend. He was training Lamar Jackson, maybe trying to angle to become a Raven. But this situation now makes that almost like an impossibility, even more so.
I think, first of all, I would like to say I have to give a lot of credit to whoever decided to make up the law terms that define crimes and shit like that. Anytime I hear assault, which could be something as simple as I tap you on your forehead I mush you and get out my face. That's assault. When I hear the word assault, it sounds because I play Halo and shit. I think of assault rifles. When I think of assault, I am beating your ass. I might even be killing you. When I hear assault, I'm thinking about I am murdering you. Now, mind you, based off of what there's a battery too. When I hear battery, I think you beat the loving shit out of somebody. And I'm like, that may have been what happened, and I would love to see whatever photos and shit like that from it. But here's the thing: I think that it's honestly true about this. I do not think, as talented as he is, I do not think Antonio Brown needs to play football anymore. I think the league needs to actively decide that he's done. If he takes a couple years off and still has the juice and they've shown that he's okay, fine. But I genuinely believe if you want to see what living CTE looks like, especially when you throw into the consideration, he's I want to play with my old helmet and shit like that. And they have since obviously improved the helmet quality and shit. I genuinely think this is somebody that has had their bell rung one too many times.
Right.
You might even blame Brissett for this shit because remember that hit that he got hit so goddamn hard by Brissett. That set this whole thing forward. I genuinely just don't think he's mentally right in the head. And while he is an adult, I think what the league needs to do, if they're saying that health and respecting the shield and all that is a vital part of the game, they need to actually enforce that and just be like, we're done. We're sorry. Again, if you want to come back this a year or 2 years from now and you have nothing bad against you, I don't see anything wrong with a comeback story like that. But to keep giving him chances within him clearly not fixing the problem, they are enabling him to continue to do it. It's why I think it was stupid to continuously punish Josh Gordon over Weed because as the NFL is finally let go of, Weed is really not that big of a deal. But in the
Yep.
same breath, if what you're saying is that weed is important, that's not something, stop letting Josh Gordon back in. Let him get his fucking life together for real. I know he was gone for like a year and some change.
Yeah.
Let him just be out the league. And if he's still got the juice in a couple years, you can give him a second opportunity like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion on that.
No, I agree with you. I think it's got to stop at some point. You got to put something strong ahead of this guy because even after all this shit, he still does something in this calendar year. After all the shit he did last year, he did something in this calendar year. And this is a guy who's delivering his items. I have never fought with a delivery driver. I've never physically assaulted a delivery driver. Should I? Maybe I'm upset. Maybe they broke a lamp or something. Sure, you get upset, then you sue the company and you settle and you do whatever. To flip out and start kicking, damaging property, kicking the guy or hitting the guy. Maybe there was an altercation about the fact that he felt that some of the household items were damaged or whatever. That's a situation you take up in court. To think you can put your hands on somebody, that's the problem, Winston, isn't it? To resort to violence, do you think that's an actual option for you at this level of your career and this level of fame speaks volumes about how you're having trouble processing right or wrong. And I haven't even thought about the CTE situation. That's actually a great point you bring up, Winston. Is this something that he's currently in the process of experiencing and not knowing he's experiencing? That would be an unsettling thing to watch, you know?
And that to me is the saddest part about CTE. It's like I said, you cannot tell that someone has it until they're dead, and you can do it.
Yeah.
You have to go inside the brain and see the damage.
Yeah.
In the same way that we're praying for, a vaccine for COVID sooner than later.
Yeah.
I really hope for the sake, if you're really genuinely going to try and see this sport last, it obviously is not nearly as important as finding a vaccine for COVID, but in the same breath, if you want to see football survive, I really hope they come up with a way to test for it and to genuinely find out if somebody has it, because it is not only is it super dangerous, obviously, this is the type of shit that we're 2 seconds away from the next thing we hear is Antonio Brown has killed someone. That is what I'm worried about. Is that this goes from mischief to straight up he's lost his mind and he actually killed someone because of his bullshit.
It keeps escalating, right? It keeps escalating. The assault, the sexual assault, then you get the situation, the other thing you did, and then you put this on top. It just keeps escalating. The craziness with the Raiders and Gruden and all of that. It didn't show a guy with a mental stability. The situation pulled the Patriots. All of it just keeps adding on top of each other. And every time you think, well, I've got a little bit of distance from the situation, maybe he's figured it out. Maybe he's got something new pops up. So this is just, I think you got to take football out of the kid's life because it clearly messes him up. And all that money makes him feel like he can do whatever he wants to do and keep getting away with it, And so it's just frustrating overall. Let's try to bring Jay. Jay, are you back in? No, any chance? Maybe.
I mean, I'm here. I hope y'all can hear me.
Yo, don't be depressed, man. Don't be frustrated. It's not that kind of thing, dog. We're cool.
It's not you.
This ain't ESPN, brother. We're just hanging out.
Unless you over here, right? Unless you over here kicking your damn modem, that's not you. You didn't do it. It's just the world sucks right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
I am beyond frustrated. I can actually see y'all live talking and moving, which I know means it's working.
Yes, it is.
On my phone.
Yeah, it's working on your phone. Don't worry, man. You could be Ferris Mathuna. That's a tough situation in life, so you could be him. I'm getting the double bird. I'm getting the double bird.
I'm not gonna laugh at that because Ferris is a patron, and
I know Ferris is the best.
I'm not gonna knock the brother that's out here trying to help me live my life. So
one question before we jump to Jay Ferris. Ferris is waiting to ask us a question. Actually, Jay, the Garpax situation. Let's swing back to it. I wanted to put it on the show specifically for you to address it. This has been super frustrating so many years with John Paxson and Gar Foreman in these positions. Now you hear from Wojciechowski that they're looking for someone else to come and slide into this. Do you think finally? Do you believe this is happening? And how happy are you as a Bulls fan?
I'm happy to hear it, but I won't believe it until it actually happens. You know what I'm saying? It's been so much talk of Gar Foreman and John Paxson being fired from those positions and we not having, as Bulls fans, finally having a glimmer of hope. People have even bought signs, private companies and people have gotten together and bought signs, billboard signs that say fire Garpax by the United Center. That lets you know how frustrated and fed up the city is. Like until it actually happens, until it is actual, listen, they're fired and these are the replacements and it seems like they're suitable replacements, I won't jump on the bandwagon. I'm excited as hell to hear about it. My fingers are crossed and prayers up, but until it happens, I can't be 100% on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is from Wojciechowski. He's saying the team started a formal search to hire a new top executive with full authority on basketball decisions. Is your worst nightmare that they somehow convinced Jordan to come back? Because he has buried that Hornets team, for God's sakes.
You know what? Everybody thought Jordan was going to be Everybody thought Jordan was going to be a great GM because of who he is. And listen, he's a player. He's not a GM at the end of the day. And he's a businessman when it comes to Nike, when it comes to the Jordan brand. But the NBA, as far as running that as a company, as a business, running a team as a business seems like a very different thing. Now, when you had that's why coaches make the best, GMs and president of basketball operations and whatnot. And you have some players who slide into that role who can make some good decisions, but in some cases we see it only last minimally.
Yeah. These are the teams that are, or these are the people that they're potentially going to interview. Nuggets general manager Arturas Karnisovas, not a bad choice considering what he's done with that Nuggets team.
Not at all.
Right. And the Raptors GM, Bobby Webster, those are potential candidates. They also are looking to interview Heat assistant GM, Adam Simon. So all three of those teams have remained in contention and have drafted well and put a good team together. So, the Raptors were shockingly in pole position in the Eastern Conference to have a strong high seed and shock some people in the playoffs. If this season resumes, they were playing really well without Kawhi Leonard.
That's what I'm saying.
All year.
They're former champion. They're still champion. They're the champs as of right now.
Yeah. So this could be a good situation for the Bulls, and anything where the Bulls could come back and be a force again in the NBA, I'd be happy about. Christopher Strikeleather, interesting name, says, Rocha, what about Dwayne Wade as a Bulls executive?
Hell no. Hell no. Again, just because it's a hometown thing, doesn't mean you put him in that position. Like, you got to make sure we got to go aside hometown. We got to go aside what they did for the team as a player, i.e. John Paxson, i.e. Michael Jordan. You got to look at what they can do as a businessman to make this team grow. You can think because they played on the court, it's one thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I like this situation here. Hey, Rocha, if you had to get rid of one NFL team and end the COVID-19 pandemic, who would it be and why the Cowboys? Yeah, I agree. I would absolutely get rid of the Cowboys. Sorry, Winston. Absolutely. I'd bury that team in the grave and never see it again.
First of all, Justin Towns, that's a meme that's been going around.
Has it really?
Yes, it has.
So I'm not that impressed with you recycling someone else's joke, Ooh, I don't even know what sorry-ass team you were, Justin. All right? But I'm trying to think of some Justins that have been in the league. I can't think of none. They all been trash. Only one I can think of is Justin Timberlake pulled out Janet Jackson titty and ruined her life. All right? Step off.
Star Drew says, Rocha, come on, that is not good. Okay. I didn't say it, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, that joke. Oh, Justin Tucker. All right, Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker
from former kicker on the Ravens. Yeah.
Some people getting sensitive. We're talking sports, dog. Don't get sensitive when we're talking sports, man. Come on. All right, let's bring Justin Houston. All right, fair enough. Let's bring in Ferris to see what kind of lunacy he's got for us. What's up, dude? Can you figure out how to work your stuff?
Okay, is it just me that don't hear him at all?
I can't. My bad. I was muted. I was muted. My apologies, guys.
All right.
I was muted.
See, it's not very funny when someone does that, huh, Jake? You son of a bitch.
Sorry.
You lousy son of a bitch. All right, tell me something, Ferris. What you got? What do you got?
Yeah, man. I was just, like this morning I was rewatching WrestleMania Part 2, and I have I like the Boneyard match, and I also like the Firefly Funhouse match. But on SEN, Christian really wasn't really digging it. And I know Rocha last night you tweeted out it was the best thing I've seen since in WrestleMania in the past 10 years. Yeah. So I was thinking, but like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 was better than the Funhouse. No offense, man, but I see what you were going with, because I quite enjoyed it, because the problem is, it wasn't really a match. It was a story being told. You know what I mean? I liked it that way. And then the Boneyard match was a match. I feel like that was the disconnect, And also, I was watching the Street Profits versus yes, Ed. It is Fab Five Ferris. Thank you very much. Ed trolled me on Twitter earlier today. I swear to God, he trolled me. So like, I was watching.
Fab Five. Yep.
Okay, John, I get it. All right.
Yeah, you're my show. Keep it down. Go ahead.
That's why I'm trying to be respectful, John. I'm not here to be controversial anymore. I'm here to be. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn, my man.
Good.
I'm here to
Go
learn.
ahead.
By the way, I would get rid of the Washington Redskins to end the epidemic. By the way, too.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
Real talk.
While
I love that and I find that hilarious, let's be real, y'all. We would easily get rid of the Chargers or the Browns. Let's be
that's true.
The Browns, you'd have to get rid of the Browns.
Yes. No, but I would get rid of
the Chargers.
Yeah.
I would get rid of the Chargers.
Chargers.
I would get rid. They're the redheaded stepchild that nobody wants. Like
exactly, man. Exactly. Like the Browns, the Browns we need to laugh at. The Browns we need to laugh at.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd bury the New York Giants. What?
I'm gonna cuss out my cousin for sending me for something that he made up, but he lied.
He acted like he made it up.
Yeah.
You need new cousins, man. All right. Anyway, yeah. So, what's your overall question about WrestleMania?
My question is, but now my question is like, I watched the Street Profits match, and I really like them. Like, any thoughts on how the Street Profits are? Because I feel like I'm the only one who talks about the Street Profits.
Let me tell you something about the WWE, and I'm sure Jay will back me up on this. They have a hard time booking Black and Latino wrestlers into effective, strong storylines, and it's frustrating with Street Profits. Street Profits are an incredible tag team, and they put them up against two Latinos, right? Just put them against each other. Screw it. And it's frustrating because they're not building any momentum behind them winning the tag team titles, and they looked great hyping up everybody else before they actually got in the ring on the main roster, and now they have the titles. It was a throwaway match at WrestleMania. That says more about the tag division than anything else. So yeah, I want them to get into something. Maybe the Usos or switch over to Raw, and that'll be the battle. We'll see. What do you think, Jay?
I agree. The Street Profits are dope. I didn't know what to think of them at first because I watched them on NXT, and it was something about being on NXT, and when you're in Full Sail, it's a smaller arena, it's a smaller crowd, it has an indie show vibe, so you're like, cool. But then I've watched how they brought them up, and then I was like, okay, y'all just using these dudes as hype men, so why the hell are they here?
Right.
But then you start letting them work. And then, like Rocha just said, it is a testament to the tag team division. This match was a throwaway match because you have to remember, it was originally supposed, all of this started because the match was originally supposed to have been Andrade versus Rey Mysterio again. That's what this was supposed to have been. And so when Mysterio goes down with illness, you still want Andrade on the card, so now you make it a tag team match with the titles. Yeah, because again, you're not going to put them against the Viking Raiders because the Viking Raiders are considerable faces right now, and there really aren't any other tag teams on Raw. So then Andrade breaks a rib while taping 8 shows in a row, which they all did. Andrade breaks a rib, so then now you got to fill that spot in, so you get Austin Theory, who honestly looked like he did not belong. I'm going to be honest. Honestly, Austin Theory is a great talent. He did not belong in that match, and you saw it clear as day.
Yeah.
There
was very evident.
He was green. He was very green.
No, he's not. Actually, Austin Theory's been around. The problem is Austin Theory doesn't have the mindset to look at it as this is WrestleMania. Everybody else, they knew how to dial into it as in this is WrestleMania. He dialed into live NXT. That's literally how he dialed into it. So when it comes to the Profits, I think it's dope. I love the fact they gave Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and Bianca Belair a WrestleMania moment. I love the fact they gave them all a moment together because that was so dope. Again, the tag team divisions as a whole with the WWE in recent years has not been taken seriously because the moment it seems like it's taken seriously, all of a sudden shit goes to hell. The fact you're not about to keep the revival's about to go after June. So that's, I think, June, July, because I think that's when Dash Wilder's contract is up. So then you lose them as a tag team. You cannot keep doing the Usos, New Day, and Miz and Morrison. It gets stale after a while. Granted, I'm one of those people who do believe I can see the Usos and the New Day battle forever. But at the same time, it will get to the point where you're like, all right, what else can you do? So now you're going to look at the WWE to either start makeshifting tag teams or building tag teams.
Yeah, I agree. Winston, any thoughts on this? Are you watching any of this stuff? Okay, cool. Go ahead.
I one day I will get back into wrestling, but I have representation matters. That's what you got for me.
Because I fully agree because I feel like over the past 5 or I think going back 8 years, the tag team division has kind of deteriorated over time, and we've only getting like 2 or 3 tag teams a year. So it was like, oh, it's the 4th time Jay and Xavier fight for the tag team titles, or the New Day and the Usos. I love them to death. Jay, I am with you. I love them to death. They fought like 85 million times.
Right.
Like at some point, I'm gonna be like, okay,
yeah,
I'm enough of Big E's hip gyrating. Okay, I get it. Yeah, you love pancakes. I get it, and I don't want to get to that point where I'm like, E, stop throwing pancakes. Like, stop. It's coming. You know what I mean? It's gonna come. But the problem is, like they just don't care anymore. Like back in the day, like there was like there's Demolition, the Hart Foundation. Right, Bobby Heenan's family, like tag teams were like you tag team, like you know what I mean. But now it's like whatever,
We'll see. They got to pick it up, that's for sure.
Also, that's also a tribute to the fact that the WWE don't recruit tag teams; they recruit individual wrestlers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It speaks to that. Also, yep. Because remember, they got lightning in a bottle with the New Age Outlaws. And so because of that lightning in a bottle, they try to get it again.
Yep.
Yeah, so when they signed War Machine, now the Viking Raiders, I was legitimately like, holy shit. They got War Machine. They actually signed a tag team. And then they were like, okay, you know what? We're going to change your names to like quasi-Swedish shit. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Because they don't want people chanting war.
Yeah.
Because they don't want people chanting war.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, Ferris. Thanks for the question, man.
All right,
really
guys.
Appreciate it. Always good to talk to you, brother.
All right, guys. You have a nice day.
Bury the Giants. All right. See you, man.
Use it.
I got him. All right. Let's move on. Ryan Cross. What's up, man? How you doing, brother? Uh-oh. I can't hear you, man.
No, I'm good.
Good. That was good, Ryan.
Jay looked like I'm about to fuck you if you try that again. So I'm a stock that right now. But I going off the same thing of what Ferris was just saying about WrestleMania. I loved the Taker match and I loved the Funhouse Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah,
because if you had to pitch that to somebody as a match, the way I would say it would be like this is your life match essentially, and it felt like a very good retirement match for Cena. I'm not sure if that's the way they're going to go with it. I hope they do because bye, just go. There.
All right.
But it's just beyond that. It just worked. I have a question for y'all. Did we actually need a host for Mania, or is it just me?
That was just them trying to push Gronk, man. They got to put him into something, and they wanted him to do something like that would get attention, so he carried it over. But I don't know about anybody else. I did not like it at all. I thought he looked like a clown, and that's Gronkowski. He's one of the toughest NFL players to ever put on the pads. To turn him into a party clown, I thought they were walking the Justin Rose line. Who's the other guy? The Latino guy that was No Way Jose. I thought it made him Adam Rose. Sorry, No Way Jose. It felt like that all over again, and I'm like, this makes no sense. What about you, Jay?
Can you all hear me first and foremost?
Yes.
Okay, because it just seemed like it was breaking up. They've been doing host just to say they have host for the years, so it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole host thing has been happening for the past almost 8 to 9 years. Remember, the New Day hosted instead of being in the tag team ladder match when they brought the Hardys back. You had Snooki host. You had Hulk Hogan host. So hosts don't matter too much. I do want to talk about the Firefly Funhouse if I can for a second.
Yeah,
I don't know why people are tripping on it. Because that's what the Fiend has been for the Fiend is a nightmare. He's a living horror story. It's a horror story. And again, I understand we talk about pro wrestling and what this is. And I understand the sport because, again, I am a pro wrestler. But I also understand what the World Wrestling Entertainment is. It is a sports entertainment company. I understand that they are going to give you more than wrestling. That's why people always get upset when they don't see a lot of wrestling. And I keep telling people, this is not a wrestling show you're watching. You're watching a television show that centers around wrestling. They're always producing a TV show.
Good point. Yeah. It's a fair point.
The other question was kind of like a follow-up to that would be like, did we really need Titus O'Neil to host for the last 2 matches?
I don't. Yeah, they got to do something with Titus, and so they put him on stuff like that. I think.
I mean, I mean,
Let that man get his paycheck. Let that man get his paycheck.
He does. He does a lot for charity too.
I was about to say he does great work for charity. It's just I haven't seen him on TV for a while, so it just kind of seemed random, like giving Gronk the 24/7 title and then him just bailing it. It seemed random.
He's just going to be an ambassador. That's all he is.
He wouldn't got a paycheck.
Yep. They got to pay him, so they put him in doing stuff. But yeah, I hear you though, Ryan. It does get a bit frustrating because it throws off the rhythm of the show. You don't see the point of it. So I totally understand what you're saying. Thanks, dude. Thanks for chiming in, brother. You have one. All right, cool. Take care, man.
Yep, peace.
Good to see him. That was nice stuff from Ryan Cross. Always good to see him commenting in the chat room. Let's move on to one more. Corey, what's going down, man? What do you got? How you doing? First time, right?
Yeah. Just want to say I really enjoyed your watch along last night. There was one who was missing from that watch along. Mr. Jay Washington should have been on that watch along last night. Just saying,
I didn't put it together. Chris Burns put it together. He asked to host it on my platform, but I didn't put it together. He brought the people in and put it together. So, but yes, I agree with you. If I was going to do one, Jay would be the first call I would make, and I think he knows it. And so, yeah, unfortunately, that was a Chris Burns production that he asked me to host on the Outlaw Nation Jam. So, but yes, Jay should have been on that. I respect that, Corey.
But
thanks for stirring up shit, Corey. Thanks, really appreciate it.
Watching RVD trying to understand what was going on with the Funhouse.
Oh my God, that was the best.
Entertaining things, seeing afterwards. But I thought WrestleMania was night 2. I actually thought I didn't love some of the results, but I thought night 2 was actually better than night 1.
Yeah,
I don't know if you agree with that or not. But
yeah, what do you think, Jay? 1 or 2? Which night did you enjoy the most?
I like night 2 better. Night 2 had a lot of night 2 had so much story culmination in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we had the AJ Taker match, but there wasn't a major story behind this. If you literally look at the Taker AJ match, we got that with DDP before. So this is nothing new when DDP first came in. So, but you had this big story of Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, which I'm pissed off about the result of that. I know people are saying, oh, they can put all these people in NXT against Charlotte. Charlotte didn't need that win. She didn't need it. Rhea Ripley needed it. The Otis and Ziggler thing, they've had the happy little ending with that. The Edge and Orton story, it worked perfectly. A little too long, but it worked. The McIntyre-Lesnar match, it was exactly what it should have been. Granted, I would have liked it a bit longer, but it was what it should have been. It should have been nothing but suplex and kicks. That's all that match needed to be. Then you had the Firefly Funhouse match, which again, it's a nightmare. The Funhouse is not meant to be a playful thing. And so to have the mind games, which the Fiend does, again, and also people keep forgetting this one big thing about the Firefly Funhouse and what John Cena said. Cena said, I'm going to eliminate the most overrated, overprotected, overhyped superstar ever. It's not Bray Wyatt, it's John Cena he was talking about. Cena was talking about himself the whole time.
I thought it was brilliant. That's why I liked it. It went through all the different phases of these guys' characters. And I mean, Cena coming out in the NWO, which is something a lot of people had said was a rumor that he was going to turn heel. And if he turned heel, he was going to start his own NWO. I thought that was fucking brilliant. It's just so brilliant. And all the stuff with Vince and the pig stuff, having Cena beat up the pig, all of that was just genius on, in my opinion, working on so many levels. I know some people, like I was reading the Sports Illustrated, they're upset there wasn't a match. Do you not understand what the Fiend is? So anyway, yeah, I get it. So
just one quick thing I just wondering from you guys, and love to get Winston's take on this. Where do you think Clowney's going to land? As a depressed and bitter Browns fan, it was interesting to see that they actually put in quite an interest where apparently the price tag has gone down from, I guess, him asking for like around 20, and I guess right now 17 million is the asking price, and it might go even down more. I know Clowney, apparently some games he looks like the best player.
Yeah.
And other times, he looks like he doesn't even show up. But when he's there, he looks like, can be one of the, Reggie White type of, talent. Do you think there's a chance he winds up on the Browns, or do you think he goes back to Seattle? Where do you think either the best fit, or where do you think he winds up?
What do you think, Winston?
If I had to guess, while I would love him in Dallas, we don't have the money.
Yeah.
You gotta go with somebody that needs help on the D line. I mean, honestly, Rocha, I don't remember how good was y'all's line last year, your D line.
Yeah, it was decent, but we've got that second pick in the draft. They'll go after Chase Young in that second pick of the draft, and so I don't think we need Clowney. And Clowney's too inconsistent. I agree with what you were saying, Corey. There are some days Clowney shows up and he looks like a world beater. Other days he shows up and you're like, wait, he was on the field the whole time. I didn't even notice that. That's the frustrating part of it all. But 17 to 18, I think is still too much for him, in my opinion. At 10 to 12 is where Clowney should be at.
I love how he put his Browns hat on because he really wants Clowney to end up on the Browns. I think what the truth is Brownie. God damn it. Clowney reminds me a lot of like a football version of Kyrie Irving, where like he's not a 1A. He's Kyrie and Russell Westbrook. He's not a 1A, he's a 1B. So he needs someone else on that line that he can play off of. It's not to say that he can't take over a game or two, but you're right. He's not going to do it for you night in, night out and win games. He'll perform, but he won't win you games. I think if you put him, that's why when you had him with the Watt, it worked out perfectly. He doesn't have a Watt now, so now you have to look at it in a different way.
Yeah.
The problem is, where do you put him? Where do you put him then? Like
you have to put him. The Bears would be great if they, but I don't know.
Oh, the Bears would be perfect for him. I agree with that. The Bears would be perfect for him.
That's actually a good idea.
I don't think that they're going to pay him, but I think that having him go to the Rams would be good. Because again, you already have a superstar there that's killing it, and you're just pairing him with someone. He's not a solo dolo. He can't do it by himself.
Nope. You can fill that Sue hole, that Duncan Sue hole that they were missing last year. So certainly possible. All right, thank you, Corey. Appreciate the call, man. It's always good to talk to you. Thank you, my man. Pretty cool having him in. All right, one last one, and we'll roll out of here. I think Jonathan, the Raptor Master Peck. What's going on, Jonathan?
Very good, John. Very good. Well, let's see.
What's your question, brother?
I want to go back to the all decade team real quick, and I want to.
Oh yeah, the NFL.
Yeah. I just want to know. Even though I agree with the coach's idea, I do actually like the Pete Carroll selected right here. But the one coach I felt like I wanted your take on it. Maybe might deserve a little bit more than that was Andy Reid. You may agree on that.
Interesting. What do you guys think? Is Andy Reid should have been the second coach over Pete Carroll? I mean, because Belichick's undeniable, but Andy Reid did kind of consistently keep winning from one team to the next, and then took them to the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl. So
it's difficult. People are going to say that he just now won a Super Bowl. How long did it take Andy Reid to finally win it? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. How long did it take Reid to finally win it? So you can't put him under Carroll.
I think if you look at both of those teams, Carroll and Belichick's teams, these are teams that consistently were always in talks for contention for a Super Bowl. These are teams that only were in talks for it, made it multiple times. None of these other coaches, honestly, have even come close to that. And Andy Reid, still obviously a stellar coach, but again, close last year or 2 years ago, didn't do it. Actually finally got over the hump this past year. But prior to that, cool, he's a winning coach, but not winning when it mattered. He won when it mattered recently. So if you want to talk about maybe going forward, if he keeps this up with Patrick Mahomes and shit, I can see him winning that next decade. But I don't think that he was a viable contender for this one at all.
That's fair.
And also I have one surprise that
all right. Keep your clothes on.
Did he take them off last time? Is this
no? I never trust the internet when they say I got a surprise for you. I always think clothes are coming off.
Great. All right, can I mention one surprise as I look through the all decade team, which I think Jay maybe you could correct me on there, but maybe you could tell me differently. I was a little surprised that as I look through all the roster, the only person that's a little surprised me, and maybe he doesn't play much of the decade, is I'm picking Devin Hester. That's actually the one person that surprised me.
Yeah, as a kick returner, Devin Hester, he did make the list
because of what he was.
Right.
Decade. It's just, I think it's because of his position to overlook it.
He also
overlook it.
Oh man, he went sky.
And then he thought, it went.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Yeah, you kind of. Sorry, Jay.
You went Skynet on us. I'll pick up where he left off in the sense that the one thing I remember is Devin Hester. If you're in a situation where you're genuinely scared that your team is about to be fucked on a kickoff, that's not like.
I'm not gonna deny that. I thought more about the other decade than here. I ain't seen him until early on the decade.
What did he? I got to remember when he retired. Hold on, let's see.
I think
Devin
around like
Hester
2015 or 2014.
Yeah, he retired in 2018. So like he just retired a couple years ago. Yeah. And let's see. He's retiring. The 34-year-old former Bear told a reporter following the Seahawks 36-20 loss to the Atlanta Falcons that he's retiring. So like that's the thing. If I remember, was he on the Seahawks or was he just watching the game?
I think he was playing or Atlanta right here. I know in Atlanta he broke the all-time record though.
He was on the Seahawks. So that's the whole thing though, is that like he retired since he just retired in the latter half of the decade and was annihilating people on kickoff. He was still pulling at least one kickoff return a fucking year. That's wild, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why because if you also think about it, remember, you're looking specifically at kick returners and punt returners. I mean, I'm just curious, who else would you put in there other than Devin Hester? Like Patterson makes sense, but who else would you put instead of Hester?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I don't know if I have a replacement on it, but the only closest person I think, maybe not that much though, I'm not saying he's better than Hester, but I think maybe for some amount of time, which is Josh Cribbs, I guess. I don't know. That's the only person.
Cribbs.
I don't know. It's
but Devin had like the sensational aspect of it all, and that's I think what puts him above everybody else is because it was like if you remember the old school days of Billy White Shoes Johnson, when you kicked to Billy White Shoes Johnson, you were taking your life in your own hands as a team. And the same thing, Devin Hester, people like, and I think Winston pointed out correctly, when people are kicking away from you, that means you're having an effect on the overall game in a positive way for your team, and you're messing with the other team and what they want to do and how they want to pin you back. So I agree that Hester deserves to be on the list. But I hear your points because it's really the first half of the decade where people are talking about him, not in the latter half of the decade. So does that affect overall? But I think that
like even before the previous decade, like most people know about him in his rookie year, like 2006, though, like later 2000. That was
right. But he was still doing it for a few years. So, but there was, and I think also you're looking at a dearth of other choices. So you kind of have to put him on there by default, almost in a way. So, all right, Jonathan, thanks so much for chiming in, brother. It's always good to see you. Don't be a stranger. Take care, man. All right. I don't know where Jay's going. Jay, what does Jay need more, a quarterback or internet connection? Oh, damn. That was good. Jaime, that was good. I'm going to say that's good.
I strained my voice just laughing at that. Oh, Jesus.
Respect, man. Respect. Because like what's his face just came out, Charles Nagy, this morning and said there's absolutely going to be a quarterback competition between Trubisky and Foles. So that's if you're Trubisky, you can't feel good about that in any way, shape, or form.
I would make the argument that his job is done. He's going to be regulated to a backup, and I think that he begins that quick downward slope of like the Sam Bradfords and the Mark Sanchez's.
Jake Delhomme.
He may get a couple games in there, but I think that his days as a starter might be done, barring a ridiculous injury that gives him a second chance.
I think even if he wins the competition, Winston, the entire season he's looking over his shoulder at Nick Foles. Even if he wins, it still doesn't matter because Nick Foles is chomping at the bit, and Nick Foles is known for sliding in as a backup quarterback and taking a team to a Super Bowl. So it's not like, you've got some unproven backup behind you or some journeyman backup behind you. So
I think I was going to say the other thing I think that is so wild, because if you think about it, and people love to just bring up Nick Foles' Super Bowl run, let's not forget that the year after Peyton Manning, I'm trying to remember correctly. I want to say this was not the year that he won the Super Bowl, but the year that I think he had just lost it with the Broncos to the Seahawks. Yeah, he came back that first game and put up 7 touchdowns on that Thursday night game. But then Nick Foles did that shit on a Sunday a couple days later. Everybody's like, who the fuck is Nick Foles? He put up 7 touchdowns. So like Nick Foles, like honestly, is he gonna be a Hall of Fame player one day? No, but I think that Nick Foles is somebody that you have to respect no matter whenever he's on the field, man.
Yeah, he's gonna leave a legacy one way or another. Thank you for correcting me there, Corey. Yeah, Matt Nagy, not Charles Nagy. Sorry, not Charlie Nagy. Sorry about that. Suge Knight, what do you got, man? What do you got?
Hey, Rocha, how you doing? I'd like to apologize to you because I just did 2 hours of my kids doing classroom work and counseling. So I apologize for not being in here moderating. I
don't sweat it, man.
Right now. So
please don't sweat it. Thanks for joining.
Hey, that's a great thing about these StreamYards and Zoom. My son got to see all his classroom and they talked and we're doing the whole thing. So it was actually really kind of cool to watch him do it. So I see that you're an hour 30 in, and I just wanted to come in and talk about what you remember about your greatest moments with about Kobe Bryant. And I just wanted to give you two myself. One was the second run. There was the last game before it was the Kings. They needed to beat the Kings, and they were going to play the Spurs. Yeah. And Shaq got in foul trouble like normal, and Kobe scores 40 something, and then he goes and plays the Spurs. And he scores another, and he ends up scoring 96 points in 2 games. And people want to talk about how Kobe Bryant, he did copy Jordan and everything like that. But, to be number 2 behind Jordan, I mean, you got to feel pretty good. The guy was incredible. And when you go back and watch his highlights and how dominant he was, and even then, he was 21 years old. People forget that in those three-peats, he was 21, 22, 23 years old. NBA star, and he was the second best player in the league. And so that was one of my memories. And then obviously the memory of dunking on Steve Nash was one of my favorites. I damn near lost it. I was in a bar and I screamed and grabbed somebody's girlfriend, and I don't know what happened that day. It was hilarious. I didn't do anything wrong. I just picked her up and we threw her up in the air. And it was pretty funny, but it was a good time though. It was a good time.
The love story began, and that was the day you met your wife. Right? That's what you're trying to tell me.
Oh, that would have been a great story. Yeah, I met your mom. Well,
Kobe brought us together.
I threw up in the air, and after that, she knew.
And then Kobe hit a game winner, and then your mama became your mama.
What do you say there, Winston? Do you have any a memory or two of Kobe that your favorites?
My favorite Kobe moment, I mean, who doesn't love the going out with 60 at the end? But to me, that's probably my second. That's my second favorite. My third favorite would be him with all those boards in the game 7 to beat the Celtics for his 5th ring, because that to me was something special. You talk about people think about when you're fatigued and you're like, I know I need to go work out. I know I need to go to work. And you think to yourself, oh, I can't give 100%, but I can still give 80, which is my current 100. That's Kobe realizing I can't make buckets, but I will do it. But for me, my number one Kobe moment, my homeboy, massive Kobe Laker fan. He comes into town my senior year of college, and he wants to go to a game, so we go to a Raptors-Lakers game. Chris Bosh is still on the team at the time. Chris Bosh is annihilating us right now. And they're down by a bucket, and Kobe gets the ball with 7 seconds, and Kobe does that thing that we practice in our backyard the entirety of our life. Ha, ha, hoop, and swish. Fucking confetti everywhere. The entire place loses its goddamn mind, and it's the first buzzer beater that I've not only seen probably in my life, but to see Kobe do it, to have heard the stories about Kobe, but to actually see it.
Yeah.
For me, that feels like Kobe won that game for me. And I'm not even a Laker fan. I'm not even necessarily a Kobe fan, but that's what when you see an actual legend in the flesh do that shit, you just feel touched. It's fucking weird. So that's my number one moment.
I like that Jay is coming in from the ArcLight wall. I appreciate him putting all those movie buttons.
I had to call Spectrum and have them reset modems and everything.
Oh, that's awesome. At least you're back in here. You look good.
It looks clean now. Yeah.
Jay, I'm gonna give you some advice. About Spectrum. Go buy your own router. I had to do it today. I have Spectrum. Go buy your own router. That's how. Go do that today. I promise you, it changes everything.
Okay, there you go.
I promise you. If you need to DM me and you need help, I'll DM me and I'll help you. Because I just did it today.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? And there's your wife peeking in. Yeah, or your kid.
That's my son.
That's your son. Sorry. Do you have a favorite? There's a lot of whiteness in the back there. Do you have a favorite memory of Kobe, Jay?
Man, I think mine would be what was it, like the damn near 80-point game he dropped?
Oh, the 81.
Yeah, the 81-point game, because it was like, yo, is this really happening? Like, you start looking at it like a team's gonna play defense on my man. Like, are you gonna just stop this dude? Like, are you gonna let him just run through everything? I think it was crazy to see that because, you know, again, it did hold up to the Kobe's a gun. All Kobe does is shoot. But at the same time, it's like, yo, this man is being able to do this, and teams are literally playing defense on him. Like, it's literally not like they're just saying, go, Kobe, you go do what you want.
Oh, James, you see,
why are you doing
him
like that, Rocha? Why are you doing like that?
That's my brother, man.
I saw it and I ignored it the whole time.
That's my brother, man. I like to mess with my brother. That's my brother right there.
Oh my
God. I think for me, there's two. The 81-point game, I agree with Jay, because to me, Kobe was always a scorer. So I always expect him to play incredible every night. The other memory, and I will always hold this, is the Doug Christie not flinching a damn bit when Christie was trying to throw the ball in his face and mess with Kobe. Matt Barnes. Sorry, Matt Barnes. Those guys are interchangeable in my mind, but trying to like, you know, get Kobe to flinch or whatever, and Kobe just stood there and was like, "Nah, bitch, nah." And I was just blown away by that, because at that time, Matt Barnes was considered to be essentially a thug on the court in real life and off the court, and everyone was super afraid to mess with Matt Barnes. And Kobe was like, "Nah, man, I ain't playing with that stuff."
Two quick things. First of all, does this ruin it for you that when they finally, it was like 2 years ago, they realized that they showed it at a different angle and he didn't thrust it in Kobe's face? It was to the side.
No,
but it looks like it was in his face.
Still, a ball coming here.
I'm asking.
The ball came this close to his nose. I'll do it to the side and let me see if you don't flinch. You're gonna flinch.
You gotta flinch.
You're gonna
tell you what my second moment is.
I'm not taking away. That's
yeah.
I know. I have another moment though. Why Winston sitting there trying to justify some bullshit.
No, I'm not. I still think it's a baller ass moment. I'm just asking, does it change it for anybody? I'm just asking. The second thing I was gonna say real quick before you do your thing, Jay, somebody just tweeted at me about the all NFL all decade.
Yeah.
So Drew Brees finished 7th or higher in Football Outsiders passing DYAR every year since the 2010s. Aaron Rodgers finished below that in half the years of the decade. 2013 due to injury, 2015, 2017 through 19 due to performance.
Yeah. If you give me Breeze or Rodgers, I'm taking Breeze every time.
Every day. I'm taking Breeze all day.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think they're hard.
I personally want to apologize why Rodgers is considered up there because of the Steelers. If the Steelers hold on to the ball and score a touchdown in that Super Bowl, Rodgers never gets a Super Bowl. Remember, we fumbled. He got a point. He got a point. And if we don't ever fumble and we score, Rodgers a good quarterback, but he's not considered this all-time great for winning one Super Bowl and playing below average most of the time. I apologize.
I think he's a great quarterback. I just don't think he's better than Brees. Wish Williams says, I don't have a basketball moment, but I was at Justin Verlander's no-hitter. The crowd was electric. That's awesome.
I wish I could be at something like that.
I think I've been at the no-hitter once for the Dodgers. I can't remember who it was a few years ago. I used to have season tickets, and I went to the no-hitter. Had no idea it was going to happen. It was awesome. I also was there for that 16-inning game, which was insane.
The one that kept going nonstop.
Yes, and we stayed because we didn't have to go to work the next morning. So me and my friend Edgar at the time, we're not friends anymore. We were friends at the time. We were sitting there watching the whole game. It was like, screw it, we're there till 1 a.m, just having a great time watching baseball. We went all the way down to the VIP seats by the end of the damn game. It was so cool.
But they stopped selling beer, didn't they? Because
they had to.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh, that would piss me the fuck off.
I got a second Kobe memory real quick.
All right. Go ahead, brother.
When Mike was on the Wizards and Mike drew the charge, Mike drew the charge on Kobe, and Kobe was looking like, are you fucking serious? Because he knew what Mike did. He knew Mike flopped it. He knew Mike was like, I know how to play this game just as much as you do.
This is ridiculous, but it just goes to show that Kobe is Kobe. How about the fact that his rap career, that music video was hilarious. But the fact that he was in that practice before when the Lakers were really bad near the end of his career, and he just walking off the court, he's like soft to Deshaun, but just walk away soft. That's all he said. He's just soft like that.
What did he say? The cup check. Trade these motherfuckers.
And the last one I just realized, those fucking the Kobe system commercials Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
The Kobe system commercials.
No.
Are you a different animal, but the same beast? Kobe Bryant, you're welcome. Once. Oh.
Hey, listen, you got to take the man as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Kobe absolutely was an incredible player for the NBA. Certainly a top 10, top 20, you could argue, players ever in the NBA. But you can't deny some of the weird shit he did while he was doing this.
Yeah, some of the stuff. I mean,
yeah, I think in retrospect, we'll see Kobe as one of these geniuses and just had a hard time getting along with other people because he was such a genius at the game of basketball and as a person.
Well, it's funny because what Winston said when he was like, trade these motherfuckers, we all just chalked it up to like, that's Kobe. But when LeBron did it, everybody was like, see, he don't want to play with the team.
Yeah. And he did it mid-season. He did it mid-season. LeBron is like, get rid of these old fucks. Wait, you wanted us to get them. Yeah, get rid of them. All right. Cool, Shug. Thanks, brother.
No problem. Have a good day, you guys.
Appreciate it. Give my best to your daughter back there.
Yeah, she's watching Trolls right now. So
World Tour.
She's chilling.
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta.
We're gonna strike now. Thank you, Shug. I appreciate it.
I didn't say that. All right, have a good one.
See you, man. Oh man, now we're gonna get a strike on this video.
So here's the beautiful thing. Again, like I said, when you call the cable company and you tell them, you check there's an outage, there's no outage. So you have to go through the steps of having them reshoot a signal to your modem and everything to get it back together. So I had to do all that.
Ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, your modem had a blood clot. I saw it. Yeah, go ahead, read it out loud.
Jaime Martinez wants to know, why are the Cowboys America's team when they haven't won since the 90s? They couldn't win the NFC East. Oof.
It's only because
I got your answer right here. Let me take this. Branding, bitch. Branding.
I got a better answer.
He trademarked that shit.
Also, they were the only team on TV that you could constantly see no matter where you played, where you watched from, just like the fucking Cubs. That's why the Cubs were on the super station. So that's why they became, it's the same thing.
Yep. My dad became a Cowboys fan because of that in the 70s as an immigrant to this country. The first team he saw on a national television was the Cowboys. That's something about that star hooked him like crazy. Mm-hmm. So he became a Cowboys fan since that time. I became a Redskins fan, so it was fun upbringing.
So what I did was I said everything you both just said in one word: branding. And to that point,
that's fair.
They are literally the most profitable and the most valued sports franchise in the world, over the Yankees, over Manchester United, over the Patriots. So
people love them Cowboys.
America up until COVID started was all about motherfucking money, and so the last thing I'll say about that is brand.
What you mean up until? Have you not been paying attention to the news?
It's still going on.
Have you seen the fact that the economy is 6 million people unemployed? Huh?
Let's not scare people.
It's not scare people. It's gonna be 6 million to 8.
J Dog, what do you got, J Dog? What's going on, my man? You're the last question.
Okay. Yep. Hard to believe that the greatest LA Laker, the greatest San Antonio Spur, and the greatest Minnesota Timberwolf are all going into the Hall of Fame. Dun, dun, dun. Just like that.
Good point, man. Yeah.
Damn, that is crazy.
And all of them leaving a different legacy, all of them winning championships, all of them like just playing to the best of their abilities in different situations, right? Duncan, a very chill, relaxed situation the whole time, no drama. Kobe, all kinds of drama, and did it twice with Shaq and without Shaq. And KG having to leave the longtime team of his with the Timberwolves just to go to Boston to get that title, and arguably should have won a second title if Perk hadn't been hurt for Game 7. I think they absolutely win that title again against those Lakers, and could have had 2 titles. So three incredibly different situations, but all of them leading championships. Great point, Jay.
Yeah, the Minnesota Timberwolves, that 04 team, they were just short. That they. Yeah. I don't know. It might have been a different story if they took on the Detroit Pistons instead of the LA Lakers. And remember, that was the Gary Payton, Karl Malone LA Lakers. I was going to. I wanted the Lakers to win because I wanted to see Malone and Payton get their ring. They did. Payton got a ring 2 years later with the Heat.
But that was still hilarious to watch Karl Malone and Gary Payton we know we're going to get a ring for sure, and win nothing with the Lakers.
Yeah. And trying to hit on. And people forget Carl, big rumor Carl trying to hit on Kobe's wife at the time. People forget about there was a whole kinds of drama behind that. I remember
Mailman still couldn't deliver.
Wait, what did he say?
The mailman still couldn't deliver?
Still couldn't deliver. Jay, you evil. Where are you at, Jay? You playing baseball? What are you doing out there?
Nope, I'll run on the track every Monday. I'm going to do Monday night running from now until the end of November to get into tip-top shape because, I'm getting sick of Mark Ellis and his 12-pack of Coors Light. Well, I'm going to have a 12-pack here, 12-pack abs, baby.
Make sure you keep that social distancing. I might need to join you because Jay keeps calling me fat, so I might need to join you, man.
Well, you're the one that set up
total gym and running. You're good.
I mean, Jay drops one shirt size and everybody else is fat now all of a sudden. Hey, fuck you, Jay.
Actually, Jay dropped 2 shirt sizes because also even this is a 2XL now. That's way too big for me. So we're going on 3. What you know about that?
You'll catch up to the L. That's where I'm at. I'll see you when you get here. All right, Jay. Is that your last question? You good?
That's it. See you guys.
All right. Great to see you, man. Run safe, brother.
Also, Rocha, Winston has to remind me because sometimes I'll be like, man, am I really losing weight? And Winston will be like, bitch. He'll be like, bitch. You see that face?
If you don't sit your bulimic via working out ass down, I swear to God.
Guys, I want to do one last thing. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry, cut you off, Winston. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I was just gonna make another joke. It's not important.
Of course it's not, because your jokes aren't funny. Anyway.
I mean, Rocha laughed, and if Rocha laughed,
that doesn't speak a lot about your jokes.
Oh, come on, now.
Rocha, you're just gonna talk to you like this.
I know. It's
he finally got his internet up. Kick that nigga out.
That's what I'm saying. He finally got his internet up. He's taking enough punishment for today. I don't want to.
I've been abused.
Your internet is the running joke of this show. That's what I will say, sir.
I can live with that.
Spectrum pulled an Oz on him, took him to prison, and did nerdy things to him.
Oh my God!
All right, and I want to say one last thing, and I want to give a shout out to Bobby Mitchell, who passed away over the weekend. I'm a longtime Redskins fan since 10 years old. So Bobby Mitchell was a name that I heard all the time growing up. He was 84 years old when he passed away. Hall of Fame president and CEO David Baker said in a statement, the entire Pro Football Hall of Fame family mourns the passing of Bobby Mitchell. The game lost a true legend today. Bobby was an incredible player, a talented executive, and a real gentleman to everyone with whom he worked or competed against. He went to college at Illinois. He was a seventh round draft pick of the Browns, and he became a dual threat in the passing and running game. He was second team All-Pro honors in 1959, rushing for 743 yards, 5 touchdowns, snagged 35 receptions, 351 yards, and 4 scores. Made his first Pro Bowl in 1960, then came to the Redskins in 62, where he was an incredible wide receiver. I mean, imagine that, adapting to 3 different positions. He earned 3 consecutive first-team All-Pro selections during his first 3 years, and he led the league in receiving in 62 and 63, then retired in 68 with 14,078 combined all-purpose yards. At that point when he retired, that was the second most in NFL history. That's insane. Then moved into the front office immediately the next year for the Redskins, and he was there until 2003 in the role of assistant. He moved into the role of assistant GM, and he was there when we won all 3 of our Super Bowls that we did in our history. And he was involved with so many incredible charities, including NAACP for cancer research, the United Negro College Fund, and the White House Task Force on drugs. So I just want to give a shout out on my show to Bobby Mitchell, or our show to Bobby Mitchell, because he's just incredible legacy for the Skins, and I loved that man so much growing up, and learning about him was just a great honor, So I'm just saying that. I don't know if you guys know about Bobby.
I didn't know about him, but I mean, honestly, I think the one thing that I feel very grateful for, knowing that he died at 84, that he got to live a long and fruitful life, and that he was so impactful on so many people, including being the first Black anything, even if it's just for a team versus a league or something like that. That's huge. And so, it's funny. We love our rivalries, and I think anybody can agree with this. Our rivalries, people like to rib and poke each other in the moment and stuff like that. But when it's something serious like life, I mean, I got nothing but respect for this man. Just even learning about him right now.
I literally will echo everything Winston just said. It's the same thing here. Like, didn't know much about him, but when you hear someone's passed at anything over 60, I tend to look at it as always, they lived a long life. Yeah. They lived a long life, and especially to hear someone who did all of that and to go into 3 different positions in the game of football and to excel in 3 different positions speaks volumes.
Yeah, I agree. And shout out to him for doing that. And, all of us have on our teams those players from the past who've still got connections and things of that nature. That's what makes the joy of football so great. One last super chat from Jaime Martinez. AJ, I asked this earlier, but I thought I would ask you, what do you need more, a quarterback or internet connection? Wow, he won't let it go.
Well,
he won't let it go.
This is how I'll answer that question. I can eventually get my internet connection to connect and work right. We need a quarterback more. I don't believe that Foles is the guy. More so, I don't believe that Trubisky is the guy. Yeah. There are people on the market that the Bears don't want to pay money for. The Bears don't want to make happen. So yeah, I need a quarterback for the Bears more than I need an internet connection, because at the same time, I've also got this, which I need T-Mobile to step their game up. That's because, again, everybody's home now. I don't care what nobody realizes. Nobody realizes yet. With everybody home, your internet, your cell phone speed, all of this is going to run slower. They were never meant to hold this many people consecutively. It's
like being in a stadium. It's like being in a stadium. Your internet naturally goes slower because you're on all those other phones.
Or when we're at the cons, anytime we're at the cons, dude, it's a wrap.
It's the worst. All right. Well, there you go. That's this episode of Game Time. I want to thank my guests, Jay and Winston Marshall, for being on here. Please promote everything. Jay Washington, take it first before your internet goes out.
You can find me with a hopefully working internet connection. Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington is spelled below. Please, if you want to support, join my Supervillain Squad, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. I got for those who know me, I'm a host on here. I'm a pro wrestler and a stand-up. I got some stand-up videos coming to my Patreon today. So nice. You can look at some older stuff, but you want to check it out. I'm putting it on the Patreon. And guess what? It only costs $5 to join. So it's going on the Patreon. Go check there. Nice. The YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAY Washington 80. I do a lot of stuff. My Educated Insanity Ignorant News is coming up today, and me and Winston are back reviewing Harley Quinn on the DC Universe. And speaking of me and Winston A. Marshall, Tuesdays, because I got the modem fixed, we know we can do it live with no problem. Get us on Blurs in the Hood, streaming live at 2 p.m. Tuesdays, excuse me. I hate you so much the way you looked at it. At 2 p.m. on the Blurs in the Hood channel, youtube.com/BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. And
Perfect.
Again, thank you, Corey Richmond. Please, my pinned tweet on my Twitter profile is the Sean Spears search for Spears for AEW Wrestling. Please retweet that comment and use the hashtag search for Spears. I need AEW to figure out what your boy is all about.
Yeah, good to go. Winston, what do you got, brother?
You can find me on the socials at the Swaggy Blurred. That's pretty universal. You're talking about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd. On my Patreon, patreon.com/the Swaggy Blurred. I made a TikTok. I don't know if I'm gonna use it, but it's there. So I don't know if I'm trying to learn the Tootsie Slide. Drake out here trying to get me to do shit in the quarantine I don't want to do. So the point is, you can find me all there. You obviously find me on Blurs in the Hood. You see me in the Schmodown, just like you see these two gentlemen, stuff like that. So all that kind of stuff, and just keep a close eye at TVs. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, nice. Well, I love that. I always love to hear that from you, Winston. All right, you guys, thanks to those gentlemen for joining me. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun hanging out, talking sports with you guys. It's so it's one of the highlights of my week, to be honest with you. I love doing it, and the fans seem to love it. We're getting over 2 grand views on every one of these episodes. And I thought you were going to say we get $2 grand a month. I was like, whoa. I wish. I was like, nigga, I would love. I would love to send you guys that. I missed a few zeros on the last one, maybe, I guess. But you guys can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. See all the shows I'm hosting and all the things I'm doing with the Outlaw Nation channel. Please subscribe below if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. We want to do more on this channel as well and kind of hone the shows and maybe bring up some new shows. All that kind of stuff needs your support and your love. And the way you can do that at the base level is subscribing. If you want to join the Patreon, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. I got some hangouts I've been doing already last week. So I got some verbal hangouts. Some audio hangouts and some video hangouts that I'll be doing this week as well. And then watch alongs coming soon, all that jazz. All right. Thanks, everybody. Follow me at The Rocha Says, and we'll talk to you next time on this lovely sports show called Game Time.